I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-minute convos where I help you create a brand of your own unique, real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good day, Jackie Corcoran. How are you going on this wonderful, beautiful day?
I'm doing really well, Angel.
Hey, it's a great pleasure to connect with you, Jackie. Please do tell me, what part of the world are you in right now?
I am in the Rocky Mountains in the United States in southwest Montana.
Ooh, it must be amazing up there.
It is beautiful.
Wow, you say it so softly. Yes, it's beautiful. I can well imagine. Well, Jackie, please do tell me, which of your talents is responsible for us meeting?
In a roundabout way, I became a member of a mastermind group, and our mastermind group is just a group of professional entrepreneur females who get together on a very regular basis and support each other in growing our businesses. And through being in that mastermind group for 2 years, we started a podcast together that we launched just a couple of weeks ago called Beautifully Equipped. And I added that to my LinkedIn profile. I'm also a health coach and a painter and artist. And so it was something that I added and then set my profile to share. And I do believe it's through that you and I connected.
That's fascinating how that happens, right? So on my quest to have 800 conversations, I wanted to really focus on podcasters. So podcaster or podcast host would have been the keyword I used on LinkedIn. And it's amazing that it's only been a couple of weeks since you've changed that, which means I would not have connected with you, right? Well, probably I would have.
It was only 1.5 weeks, I think, after I changed that you connected. And it really made me excited. And because I am in a group with 3 other women and they know that you and I are having this conversation today, they're very eager to talk with you as well.
Yeah, which is going to be fun. I was listening to the podcast, but of course on the podcast, on the podcast, it's B, right? Beautifully Equipped.
It is.
Yeah,
you got it.
Yeah, so I love it. That's a great idea, but that speaks in itself to the power of the mastermind, right? Amazing things come from that. So tell me, who did you learn the skill of reinventing yourself from?
Interesting. Reinventing myself. I think that it came from necessity. Absolutely, it came from necessity. So when I grew up in New Jersey, and I grew up in a family that was, it was pretty challenging to be a kid in my family. And it was, I had to figure out ways to break the mold of the trajectory that I could have stayed on. So what I did was I started looking for outside role models. So for example, obesity runs in my family, and I thought, okay, how do I find a person who is older, my parents' age and my aunt and uncle's ages, and who is really maintaining their youth and vigor and health. And so I found that in a couple of teachers in my school. And so I just started pinpointing, and I don't know that it was that clear in my mind at the time. It might have been, but I just started pinpointing people who I thought, oh, that's a healthy person. What are they doing? How can I do that?
That's amazing, isn't it? I mean, in hindsight, right? It's always great looking back and seeing it, but in hindsight, it's pretty amazing, isn't it?
It is. And I think that that's a great question because it helps me move forward in that way too. Okay, if I'm stuck somewhere now, who am I looking to help me get to where I need to be?
Love it. Well, tell me, why will you, now that you've been doing this, almost organically, if you would, why will you continue to repeat this skill?
This skill being podcasting?
I would say reinventing yourself. Like, I really like that idea.
Okay, cool. Now, okay, so with that in mind, reinventing myself, will you ask that question again?
Sure. Why will you continue to repeat this skill of reinventing yourself?
I was defined by one of my closest girlfriends yesterday to me as a person who has an insatiable thirst for knowledge. And so I think that is just an innate driving force in me. I always want to learn more, to peel the next layer off, to see how far I can push things. And I don't like to settle for status quo by any means.
Tell me what business you bring to market, please.
Several businesses. I have several umbrellas, I guess I could call them. One is art. So I'm a painter, and through being a painter, several things grew out of that. I started teaching private painting lessons to guests at ranches in Big Sky, Montana. And then a few years ago, I started teaching quote unquote art parties or canvas and cocktail type of parties where people sit around for a few hours, drink some wine, and create a painting. And also, of course, making my own paintings. But that initial starting out as a painter made me have other side hustles. So it led into becoming a personal trainer. So I was always interested in fitness. And so personal training seemed like an easy fit to support myself as a painter because it allowed for flexible schedule. It was good money. It was in alignment with my values. And then personal training led me to become a holistic health coach. And so then I started focusing more on, I can send any of my clients to a personal trainer for their physical activity if that's what they're looking for, but I want to do a bit of a deeper dive with them. And the other pieces of business that becoming a health coach brought to me. So I attended a school called the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, or IIN. They're based out of New York City, and it's a 100% online school. And they said, look, we are, as Americans, we're a country in declining health. So not everyone can afford your private personal health coaching sessions. We need to get the word out on a much broader scale. So we need for you to join Toastmasters. And Toastmasters, for anyone who doesn't know, is a wonderful international organization where you go and learn speaking and leadership skills. So you learn to cut out your so, maybe, words like that. You also learn to receive critical feedback and give critical feedback, have those, kind of dialogues where everyone leaves feeling good and better empowered for it. And so through Toastmasters, I became a public speaker. And then they also said you need to write. So I started writing a regular health column 3 years ago for a local free newspaper called From Jackie with Love. And then that gets published online. And so that helps me get the word out about current health topics in a way that's free to anyone who wants to listen or read.
Love it. What's the best website for us to go to follow you?
Right now, it's Core Health MT, CORE healthmt.com. And I'm doing some reworking of that with a web developer. So that will be changing, but I'll still have that site redirected to my new site.
Wonderful. Well, you are the type of busy that is good busy because you're doing things that really fan your flame, your passion, and that's very important. Jackie, let's switch gears for a moment now. Let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Jackie, what is your earliest childhood memory?
It's funny that you say warm blue water. I did grow up in New Jersey, so I was not surrounded by warm blue water, but I did grow up going to the Atlantic Ocean. And that was a really big part of my life. And so my earliest childhood memory, it seems to be a blur of many of my childhood memories, which are being outside and playing in the sun. The essence of the memories that I have as a child of just being outside. Although I grew up in New Jersey, in the suburbs, we had the good fortune of having our house butted up against this I don't know if it was National Park or Forest Service. It was it's surreal that it even existed in the area that I lived in. And so even as little kids, we had free reign and my cousins, so they're 1 and 2 years older than me, so we grew up together as small children, and we would just get to take off and walk down this path and go by this creek and, sit on a giant rock and pretend that we were the captain of a ship and there were alligators around and play in the leaves, and it was, yeah.
That's amazing.
Being outside.
How old do you think you were in this earliest memory?
That particular memory, I probably was about 6. Okay. But I'm sure that I have earlier memories than that. But again, it's really this just being in nature in the sunshine.
I love it. Why do you think this memory is so clear?
Probably, this is a really good question because I ended up in Montana, right? So I grew up in New Jersey. I went to college in New York City. All I wanted to be was in New York City when I was growing up. And 20 years ago, I take a road trip to Montana and end up staying here. And that has always kind of puzzled me. Sure, it's beautiful. Sure, the people here are wonderful. How the heck did I stay in a place that is so cold? It's so cold here. And so I think now that you're bringing me back to this childhood memory piece, and why this is so vivid in my head is it's this connection to nature. It's this connectedness, and I get that in Montana in a way I never got that in New Jersey. And the particular area of Montana that I live in, that's the culture here. People they come here to, not everyone, but overall, people come here to be outside. So it might be 10 degrees outside, and you're putting on your ski boots and you're, layering, and you're going outside for a ski or something like this.
Well, that is fascinating. Well, you definitely did connect it, right? Can I offer an interpretation or add to the interpretation you shared that you presented that, it's vivid from my mindset? Can I do that?
Yes, please. I'd love it.
I love the idea of the exact thing you described, your connection with nature, but more so how it leaked, if you would, into every aspect of your life. So you spoke of your imagination and everything you did there, but I'd like to connect 2 things. One being your cousins being around, and now the mastermind being such of an integral part of your life with the other women that you meet with, and then secondly, your career and how that has spiraled into so many things, but it always connected to what you wanted to do and what you wanted to be, so that others could benefit from your skill set. That is pretty fascinating.
That is interesting. I appreciate that interpretation, and I'm going to think about that. I like that. Thank you.
You're welcome. If we fast forward to when you were 12, what was your favorite song?
I wonder how you'll interpret this. My favorite song was, I don't know how old you are or how old your listeners are, but it was a song called Tainted Love. That is, you don't really hear it anymore. It's from a band called Soft Cell. I think, Soft Cell. I don't know that they have any other popular songs, but I could sing, and I'm not going to, every lyric of that song.
You can sing if you want to sing. You can sing.
No.
Okay.
That is not one of the skills I bring to the table.
All right.
There was my best friend in 6th grade. She and I loved that song, and it's funny. I have a clear memory of us being at a beach house that her parents had rented for the week and invited me along with them when we were in 6th grade. And that song, of course, it's a pop song, so it just keeps coming on all the time.
Yeah.
And we would just sing it on top of our lungs, to each other, with each other, for each other.
It's amazing how it connects, right? Tainted love, right? Like I don't even need to connect it, right? But you can definitely do that. Yeah, you could definitely do that. Jackie with love, right? Hey, Jackie, my friend, if we have arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form, so it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. We're going to go pretty quickly here. Jackie, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
I hope so.
Are you married?
Yes, I am.
Do you have children?
No.
Do you believe in God?
I have, and I have gone through phases. And currently, right now, I would say that I like to replace the word God with the word love.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yes, I do.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
Occasionally, not always, but with Netflix, we sometimes, quote unquote, marathon our favorite shows.
Yeah, it does happen. What about screen time, the phone and the computer? Is it more than 8 hours a day or less than 8 hours a day?
It depends on the day, but there are certainly days where it can be 8 hours a day where I'm just plugged into the computer and I have to drag myself away from it to go for a run. I think that is one of the greatest reasons that I have a dog, because he insists that I get outside.
Is he around?
My dog?
Yeah.
Right now he's not, but
Okay.
he is around in that he's still alive.
Okay. Yeah, I thought I heard something. I thought he was around, probably scratching or something. Yeah, it's cool. Hey, after having 1,001 conversations in 3 months, I came up with a workbook, and the name of it is yours, and it stands for your own unique real self. Connected to that is your own unique real statement, your mission, if you would. I'd like to know, Jackie, if you had to share with us your own unique real statement, something that represents who you are, what would you say that is?
I would say my mission statement is to support people, and I know that's not very specific, but it is a general vision of all people, to support people in becoming the best and healthiest version of themselves.
Love it. Jackie, well, this was such a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Anything else I'd like to share? I would just like to share that I think that the book that you just talked about offering sounds really powerful and empowering. And I hope that your audience does the work in that and nails down their own mission statement, because I think that helps us really figure out how to best spend our time. So if we are doing things that are not in alignment with our mission, then we can take those sometimes, not always, but potentially, or work towards removing those so that we're not being kept from living in alignment with our mission. I think that's great that you're offering that book.
Love it. Jackie Corcoran, thank you so much for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thank you, Angel.
Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.